Hello, I'm Alex Mansfield, the host of Manny Talks Shooting, and welcome to another episode. This is the shooting podcast where I talk to individuals all across the shooting industry. We'll talk competition, self-defense, concealed carry. If you like this content, check out our YouTube channel, Manny Talks Shooting. And without further ado, let's get to this episode. Manny Talks Shooting is proudly presented to you by D2 Custom Guns. Did you know that Phil the Groundhog isn't the only thing Puxatawny, Pennsylvania is famous for? That's right, D2 Custom Guns, the home of Dan Heizenreiter and one of the best, fabulous 2011 builders in the country. So make sure you guys go check him out, D2 Custom, anywhere you can see him on the social media, Facebook, Instagram, go check him out. If you see myself, Patches Reader, anyone with the D2 Custom Guns, make sure you go check him out, and you will thank me later. Now, let's get on to the show. Welcome, everybody. Welcome back to another installment of Manny Talks Shooting, the shooting podcast on the internet, because that's where you have to listen to all of this, because without the internet, we wouldn't know what to do with ourselves. But this show is proudly presented to you by D2 Custom Guns. Go check out Dan Heizenreiter, builds the fabulous 2011s in the market. Get a gun order now, because you might have it before Nationals if you wanted it that bad. But hey, it's all good. Go check out Dan, d2customguns.com. Tell him Manny sent you, and you'll thank me later. Without further ado, we'll get on to the topic of the podcast tonight. It's not a topic; it's a person. Why he's not a topic? I don't know. It's been a day. Anywho, we're talking about the guy behind the camera, behind a lot of different things. We're going to talk to Mr. Carson Herding. How you doing, Carson?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. I am doing fantastic on this early day in June. If anyone actually cares when these are being recorded, because you never know when these actually be recorded. But anywho, so Carson, how are you doing, man?
Doing well. Just
Good.
got back from Factory Gun Nationals about a week or so ago, and then now we're prepping for the Alaska sectional. We leave on Thursday.
Oh, there you go. So that's pretty quick turnaround.
Yeah.
But yeah, so man, if you don't know Carson or haven't seen him on the internet, probably most famously known as Justine's significant other.
Yep.
That's all you need to know. No, just kidding. There's lots about Carson that I listened to a couple podcasts with him, with my buddy David Riddle, the casual shooter, and I'm like, there's enough time between then and now. We're gonna talk, so it's all good. So Carson, I ask everyone on the show, whoever comes on, is who are you and how did you get into shooting?
I'm Carson Herding, and I got into shooting. I grew up hunting. Both my parents are from the Midwest, and so I always go back once a year to go hunting with my grandpa. And right before COVID, I actually got into competitive shooting because I saw Lucas Botkin, TRX Arms, and a bunch of other people doing a little bit of three gun, and that kind of piqued my interest. And so I started looking for ranges and clubs around my area in Phoenix that hosted those types of matches. And I found a local indoor match that happened every Thursday. And so I started shooting that once a week. And then COVID happened. Everything was shut down in Arizona. Nothing was open for a little bit except that match. So we kept going to that match. We had to wear masks, shoot indoors, all the above. But that was kind of the one thing that we could do every week and that we could look forward to. And that kind of sparked my journey into competitive shooting.
Wow, that's actually pretty cool. So, yeah, which is unfortunate with COVID. And you said your family's from the Midwest. What state is that?
Missouri and Minnesota.
Oh, okay, so you go hunting there. What kind of game would you be looking for down there?
So once a year we'll go to Missouri for hunting, and it's white-tailed deer.
Okay. Now, have you gotten everything? Have you gotten something every time you've gone?
Not every time. So I was on a pretty good streak for about 6 or 7 years, and then I believe 2 or 3 years ago we didn't get anything, and then we've gotten something pretty much every year from then on.
Gotcha. Now, is that typically long gun, bow, or pistols?
Long gun mainly. So I use my grandpa's. It's about 60 years old now, but it's a 243 Winchester with a fixed 3-power scope that he bought a long time ago, and we'll use that. And then Justine and I have recently gone the last couple of years, and we'll go handgun hunting as well.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So she'll bring out her Colt Anaconda, and then I have the Colt Python, and I'll use that.
Have you taken a deer on that yet?
I have not, no, but she has gotten a deer with her Anaconda.
Well, that's pretty impressive. I will say, hunting with shooting like static competition targets with a pistol is impressive enough. Then you think about, I'm gonna have to track this deer and hope like it's maybe at 75 yards and in,
Yep.
and you're like,
hmm
well, luckily it's got some form of red dot on it. We're gonna press the trigger now.
Exactly. So I know her Anaconda has a RMR on it, I believe, and then mine's iron sights. So anything past like 40, 50 yards with the python's just like, it's a little bit too small to actually hit. But
Yeah, but that's still impressive. So you go back there, so this is in Phoenix. So is this C2 Tactical? Was that
yes,
the
C2 tactical, yes.
you know, I think because I always remember that range because of John Correa would always shoot there, like on one of the side bays and do his like active self protection extra videos.
Interesting. That's funny.
Yeah, there was plenty of times of in the tactical days when you just like, oh, well, I will say the active self protection videos are kind of cool because of self defense shootings and whatnot and
Hmm.
armed engagements, but definitely something that I don't listen to much anymore.
Um,
Well, an interest shift too, right? Competition is my life. It seems like that's my
yeah.
niche. I mean, for you, I mean, it probably started there, and you go hunting, but that was main focus. Now, I mean, you do so much in the industry now. I mean, you kind of have to
Hmm.
be diversified. So,
Yeah, I know. It was like started with T-Rex arms and watching that, so it was very tactical oriented. So when I started, I had like a 511 duty belt pretty much, and I used FNX 45 tactical shooting limited with 45. And so that was my first competition gun, you can say. And then I moved over to PCC with the Scorpion Evo. So also not super competitive, but still really fun indoors. And then from there, I moved on to a SIG X5 Legion and then to CZs.
wow, that's okay. So who did you borrow the 45 tactical? Was it like your dad's? Like,
So it was my dad's.
okay,
So I grew up playing Call of Duty, and Black Ops 2 is my favorite Call of Duty at the time. And
mm-hmm.
we ended up with the Scorpion Evo and an FNX 45 just because of Call of Duty Black Ops 2. And then those just happened to be like my first intro guns that I could use because they're the only thing that really fit into a division.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, you can't knife the target. I
I
mean,
know, right?
or you can't cross. Oh, because did they allow you to shoot crossbows in that game? Was
I
that
think
one?
so. They
Yeah,
had all sorts of stuff.
because I remember back in the day, my day, like when you'd have friends over and play, we'd play Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2.
Hmm.
That was the game. I don't know if you're old enough to understand what a LAN party is. Like,
No.
so before you played online, you
Hmm.
would find ways to connect Xboxes together or
Oh.
PS4s at the time with Ethernet cables on one network, and you'd play like multi-screen people like again like you'd have like especially in Halo it was super popular where
Hmm.
you'd just be able to play against a bunch of people in one location. Before you were super cool to like play online by yourself and like murder everybody,
That's
but yeah,
interesting. Yeah.
and everyone would be like, let's go play. I think it's a not Nuketown. I don't know. It was like a super small map. Like you
Uh-huh.
can't hide anywhere really, and it's like an oil rig
Hmm.
map, and it's super tiny. They might have brought it back, but that was always fun to play on. But
Yeah, I haven't played a lot of Call of Duty recently, so I'm not really up with all of the new things that are happening.
oh, neither have I. Like I haven't. I don't even own a video game console, and I think I sold my video game console and my last one in 2017, and I haven't played.
Yep.
But yeah, it's crazy. I don't play video games. But no, that's some nostalgia right there. Okay, so you shot the 45 tactical, and then you went to at least 9mm PCC.
Yep.
Um, currently you're shooting CZs. Are you
Yeah.
shooting Shadow 2s or the CZ customs?
So I shoot a CZ Custom AO1LD. So it is a carry optics gun, but it's closer to a 2011 per se than a Shadow 2. And there's a couple reasons for that. One being that it's going to be CNC'd and then hand fit together versus the cast metal that a Shadow 2 would have.
Mm-hmm.
And then it also has a bull barrel. So you're getting better accuracy, heat reduction, and weight. So the weight of an AO1 from CZ Custom is, I believe, 52 ounces. So it's a little bit heavier than a Shadow 2 and more accurate. And it also takes P10 mags, which is actually my personal favorite thing about the gun. Because shooting these Shadow 2s, I had a bunch of mag issues stemming from dirt getting into the mags, incorrect followers, having to file them down. And the P10 mags just seem to run. Like I will go about 6 months without cleaning a mag. I shot all of Ohio with not cleaning a mag, all of Berry Steel Open, which has super fine dust. The mags just go.
That's impressive, especially when you go shoot Barry Steel and it's like nothing but sand. Like I don't normally clean mags, but like I had to. I shot a local match on Sunday. I had to
Mhm.
clean mags because it was just the finest. It wasn't super fine sand, but it was like chunky enough that it was like it would just get in there, and I'm like, oh great, now you got to clean. I never clean mags.
I know.
I
Everyone's
mean,
always like, "You don't clean your mags?" I'm like, "Nope, just they just keep running."
The one thing I'm very tempted to put into my range bag is just a canned air. Just like done.
I've always been tempted to do that.
So you're shooting so that's kind of cool. So with so you said it starts at like 53 ounces and the limit's like what, 59?
Yes, I
Do you
believe so.
do you add like extra heavy grips or is it you just
Nope.
leave it as is?
I leave it as is. Lock makes the bogies for it, which are their G10 material, so the polymer-ish. And I love those grips. All the weight on the AO1 is out front because it has that long dust cover and the bull barrel, so it's really good for recoil reduction. And I have the worst grip ever, so it's the best gun for me.
Gotcha. Why do you say you have the worst grip ever?
For some reason, I can never figure out how to grip a gun, and so all the extra weight really helps manage the recoil control.
Oh,
And
okay.
it's just one thing I never could figure out, and I've taken lessons from a lot of people, Glenn Wong, which is Justine's coach, Justine, and none of us can figure out my grip. So I usually go for accuracy mainly rather than speed, but it's a good balance every once in a while.
Right. Okay. So that makes sense. So you're shooting CZs and that's pretty cool. We'll dive into this. So you fly plane, like if anyone hasn't seen you fly planes. Like you
Yes.
got when did you get your pilot's license?
So I finished my Eagle Scout project freshman year of high school, so I believe 14 or 15, and then immediately after I started flying. So I soloed a plane, so I flew in a plane by myself before I could actually drive a car by myself.
Okay. So Eagle Scout, congratulations.
Thank you.
You can't see it's on this wall, but the camera angle's blocked. I've got my Eagle Scout award. I've got my flag that flew over the cat, and then I got they give you get a bunch you get a bunch of crap from like
Yep.
Congress people and all this crap. Like I still have all that. Like it sits in a tote that I've never touched. I mean, I've touched it a couple times, but it's mostly to
Yeah,
move it. But
I have mine in a separate room, but I have the Henry engraved Eagle Scout gun. It's a 22 long rifle, lever action Golden Boy, and they
oh,
have
nice.
all of the ranks through it and a bunch of other nice engraving.
Now, did you decide to get your palms, or did you just get your Eagle Scout and then decided to move on?
No, I have all three palms, if not four. So I ended up finishing with like 50 something merit badges throughout.
That's impressive. I
Yeah.
uh, I do not have all those merit badges because you know what happens when you become. I'm an old like so that's the weird thing is like it's either you graduate high school or you turn 18. So I lost a whole year. I was not as motivated as you to finish early, but so I had to be done before my senior year of high school,
Hmm.
and I lost my troop like right at the end of my junior year of high school because people just wanted to be done. So then I had to find another troop, finish life, and then get Eagle. And I think it was like to the day I had like just enough time to finish, and it was a mad sprint. I'm very grateful I did go through that whole process, but uh, it's super cool. It's something that gets to sit on my wall now.
Yeah, it was something that I always wanted to do, and I'm very glad that I did it. And kind of the motivating force to finish it so early was because of flying. So if I didn't finish my Eagle Scout project, then I couldn't start flying. And so that was kind of what stemmed that whole journey. And I wasn't allowed to do just some, boring project. So we actually refurbished five military vehicles to open up a museum. So we had hundreds of hours into it. So there's like one of Russian tanks, one of their armored personnel carriers, a 2-ton truck, and a half-ton truck. So we power washed, primed, painted, put in new windshields, put in new seats on all of those vehicles.
Dang. Whose idea was this project?
I believe my dad and I found it at a local museum, and because we saw these, we drove by every day going to school, and it was never open. So we stopped one day and we kind of started talking to them, and they're like, "Oh yeah, like you could do your Eagle Sky project here." We had someone do one inside. So then we ended up doing the exterior of that museum so they could open the exterior portion of it to the public.
Oh, that's pretty cool then. That's cool.
Yeah.
So all right, so you finish your project, you get to go fly.
Yes.
Do you have like family who were pilots or flying, or is this just something you liked aviation?
From a young child, I always loved aviation. So a typical child, would go home after school, maybe watch SpongeBob or something when they're 6 or 7. But I actually watched the Military Channel growing up. So I knew a lot about World War II history. And that was something I was very passionate about growing up. I was fortunate enough to go to Pearl Harbor for the 70th anniversary. And I was in first grade, I believe, at the time. And then after that, we went to Normandy for the 70th anniversary D Day. And that was about fourth or fifth grade for me. And so World War II aviation, World War II history was always a super big passion. And that's where I kind of started my aviation journey.
That's pretty impressive, and that's cool. I mean, those are probably memories you're always going to have on
Mhm.
those kind of trips. Which did you like better? Did you like going to Normandy or Pearl Harbor?
I actually enjoyed Pearl Harbor better. So I got to meet more survivors at Pearl Harbor, and I have a poster where they all kind of sign and they're like, this is who I was and where I was at the time, kind of thing. And
Hmm.
I actually found out a few years later that my nanny's cousin was the first chaplain to die in World War II, and he was on the USS Oklahoma at Pearl Harbor. So I feel there's a personal connection to that.
Gotcha. That's pretty cool. So, I mean, that's always a trip you're gonna. That's that's pretty cool. So you got into aviation. You decided you were able to fly a plane before you were able to fly a drive a car.
Yes.
So tell us like I know it's super cool. You got your pilot's license. How does that go? Like where do you start to so are able to start with a plane and then like actually be able to fly by yourself? How do we get there?
So there's a lot of things that go into becoming a pilot. So your first thing is to become a student pilot where you have an instructor, you're going on flights and you're kind of checking off all the boxes and things that you have to do, like prerequisites, right? So in order to get your private pilot's license, you need 50 hours of time. So I started with my instructor flying. There's maneuvers that you have to do, certain flight requirements like cross country flights, night flights, and then solo flights. So I knocked out all of the requirements, and then I was supposed to solo on my 16th birthday. So we had this whole thing planned for my 16th to go be able to go solo, and we realized the day of that I didn't have my paperwork done. And so I wasn't actually able to solo right on my 16th birthday, but I did it 2 or 3 days after that. So I'm like 16 and 3 days in, and I'm flying a plane in the traffic pattern all by myself. And it's a weird feeling because you go, imagine sitting in a small car like a Prius or something. That's kind of like the plane that you fly. And so you're always right next to someone, and that person is no longer there. So you can see out that window, you're not accidentally bumping into this person, and you're like, oh my goodness, like I'm flying this plane all by myself. And so it was a kind of a surreal experience. And from then on, I kind of kept going at it. That was about 2021, I believe, is when I got my pilot's license. I could be wrong on that. And then from there, I went on to my instrument rating, and that allows you to fly in clouds and do like instrument rated stuff. So if it's super foggy or you're flying an instrument approach, kind of like what airliners do.
Hmm.
And that's the goal of mine is to end up at an airline. So I got my instrument rating, and from there on, I moved to my commercial, and that allows me to get hired by an airline or a company to then fly for them. And that you need 250 hours. So I went from 0 hours all the way to 250 hours getting my commercial license, doing all the maneuvers and the flights. And then now I just finished my flight instructor certificate. So now I am a certified flight instructor.
So essentially, does that mean you can teach people who to become a student, like people who are student pilots, so you can teach them?
Yep. So anyone I can teach now to become a pilot, which is kind of a surreal thing as well because I'm 20 years old and I can teach anyone how to fly a plane.
It's pretty impressive. So, do you call that your full time day job, or is that still side business? Is that the side thing, or
So currently it's my full-time like studying kind of portion of it. I don't have a job yet as a flight instructor. I have to do my CFII, which is next, which should start at the end of July, and that is your flight instructor for your instrument rating. So once you get that, you're more valuable to flight schools, and that's when they'll actually kind of hire you as a flight instructor. And then that'll
okay?
be my full-time job. Right now, I'm actually the social media and marketing for Dillon Precision. So I do all their photos and videos.
Okay, that's pretty cool. We'll talk about that in a second. Then, that's cool. So you enjoy flying. I mean, I guess you don't need. Do you need legs to fly a plane?
There's actually a lady who doesn't have any arms, and she can fly a plane.
Okay, so
So
how does that
there
work?
are there are like certain circumstances where you can get. It's called a SOTA, which is a statement of demonstrated ability, and that allows people who have certain conditions to basically fly airplanes as well. They can't become a flight instructor or get hired by an airline, but they can do it recreationally. So that private pilot level.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so there's actually a lady out of Scottsdale, I believe, who doesn't have any arms, and she flies a bunch of planes.
Now, does she have like prosthetics
No, she
or
uses her feet for everything. So they like modified the plane to that she can control it with just her feet.
that's pretty impressive. Well, I mean, and somebody who has that kind of impairment, I guess that's the better word.
Yeah,
I don't know what the better word is at this point, but somebody who has that challenge is still able to do things like that, right? Like
yeah.
there's somebody they're out of Area 6. I see them shoot Area 6 all the time, at least online, and they shoot with their feet. Somebody literally sits them in a chair. They pick up the chair, I don't know how they do it. He holsters the gun on his like an ankle holster, and then he shoots. They move the chair, and he sits down and he shoots again. It's pretty impressive.
That is very impressive. There's a guy in Arizona who only has one arm and he shoots carry optics and he'll do reloads off of his belt. So all of his mags are vertical. So you'll see him drop a mag, put his gun on his belt, get a new mag, and then continue.
That is pretty impressive. I will say that. So, okay, we'll get back into shooting. So, obviously, you started, shooting these matches at C2 Tactical. Where did it go from there? Did you start shooting because I know you said it was during COVID. What happened right after COVID? Did you go shoot more outdoors or go to bigger
Yep.
matches?
So C2 was the first match that I started going to. After there, it was Cowtown Wednesday nights for a steel match. And that was in the West Valley of Phoenix, kind of by Lake Pleasant, if you know the Phoenix area.
Mm-hmm.
And so I started doing local matches there, and then I moved to Rio, and that's kind of where I've been ever since. So Rio, as everyone knows, is home to a lot of great shooters. And so it was one of those things where I could shoot at Rio twice a week, C2 once a week, Cowtown twice a week. And so you end up shooting at a match almost every day of the week except for Mondays, I believe, which is very interesting. That's one of the few places in the country that you're actually able to do that.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely. It's impressive that there's so much shooting that can be done, but people don't know about it still. It's like I mean, I don't know how many times have you ran into Nils or Rob Latham out on the range at Rio?
Pretty much every week. Like Nils and I are good friends. We always see each other, and that was one of the funny things being a new person in the sport. I had no clue who Nils was. I didn't know Jessica, right? And they're driving me around the golf cart around the range at Rio, and it's just one of those things where you're like, oh, you're this person now, okay? Like, and then Rob, same thing. Like I've taken a class or two from Rob, and we see him out there all the time. He's kind of transitioned away from USPSA and does more bench rest and PRS style shooting now, but he's still out there a lot.
Yeah, the last time I saw Rob, he was actually out here by me. Springfield Armory sponsors John A. Halter Shooting Center with Hillsdale College. So every year, Rob will come out and teach the new students on their team. And I'm always like, oh, look at it, it's Rob. And he's teaching them how, he's scoring a target or something, showing like a scheme or an aiming scheme or something on a target. And I'm like, they have no idea who the fuck they're looking at. Like,
Right? Exactly.
like he's like, oh yeah, he's a really good shooter. No, like you don't understand. He's called the GOAT for a
Yeah.
reason. Like,
That was like my interaction with Nils the first time. It's like, I have no clue who this person is, but they're my friend now, kind of thing.
yeah,
And then later on, you figure out who they are.
yeah. And I think when did I first meet Nils? I think that was 23 Area 5. Yeah. Yeah, that's actually where I met you and Justine for the first time too. You guys came and shot that match, and God, that was one of the hardest matches everyone complained about. Oh my lord.
Yep.
But anywho, no, but yeah, these are cool people in the sport, and these are just super friend you can become friends with, and it's just normal, right? Everyone stops being a celebrity at some point. It's like after you've seen him enough, it's like first time you ever meet Max Michel. I mean, I idolized Max Michel only because of You remember the TV show Hot Shots? Not Top Shot, but Hot Shots, the one that was on YouTube that I've watched like a million times. Have you ever seen that show?
I have not, no.
Yeah, all right, you need to go watch it. Like one of the season follows Max Michel winning, like the Pro-Am, the Steel Challenge, and like Handgun Nationals, and then the next season was him like winning the World Shoot Down in Frostproof in 2014. So it was a super cool like how they for the time how they promoted it, how they filmed it, and it was a really good show, and it was a good story, right?
Yeah.
And I think you might enjoy that for that aspect. But it got me into the sport, and it was like it was super fun to watch. But meeting Max, and of course, I meet him I was working a stage that match, and I meet him, and then he has the worst stage. Like he did not get a call that he was looking for, and it was unfortunate. And then he was very
upset, and I'm like, oh, I guess I mean I understand. Like I've been in the sport long enough to understand like you're not gonna get calls that you want, right?
Yeah.
And it didn't make me think any less of him, but
Yeah. That's funny. I at Area 5 was the first time that I kind of met Max, and same with my dad. My dad will go along to some matches, and he doesn't really know who a lot of the people are who are outside of the Phoenix area. And
mhm.
so Justine and I are walking stages, and Dad's sitting on a bench on his phone, and Max Michelle walks up because my dad had a Bass Pro hat on, and Max goes, "Oh, nice hat." And my dad looks up, and goes, "Oh, thank you," and then back into his phone. We're like, "What are you doing? Like, you have no clue who this person is?" Like, it was just one of those things where it was really funny to watch the interaction between them.
Yeah, wasn't Max or isn't Max like sponsored by Bass Pro
I
or like
believe so,
it's like
yes.
Cabela's Bass Pro
Yeah.
like and those brands keep like I don't even like Sportsman's Warehouse got bought by another brand. I was like, or there was like Field and Stream got bought by Sportsman's Warehouse or Merch. I don't know. It's a big. I don't know.
There's a lot
It
of that going on.
yeah. I'm just like, oh, you can't keep track of what owns what now anymore. But
Yeah.
it's all good. So you shoot major matches. Did you? And you're a master in carry optics, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
Yes.
How long did it take you to get from first starting to master?
Oh, I believe I hit master just over a year into shooting, and I actually got master by match bump.
Okay.
So I was shooting Northern Arizona Classic, and a couple of my friends, Travis McCamish, I believe Lee Weinstein, and maybe one other person, were shooting carry optics as well. And I was, I believe, B or A class at the time. And all of them were shooting Glocks, and all of their Glocks malfunctioned. And so I was able to place within the 5% gap or whatever it was above 95%, and that actually bumped me to master. Now, if you go into my practice score, all of my classifiers I shoot are terrible. My only like good classifiers are match performance wise, so nationals, area matches, etc.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's
Yeah.
not bad. That's the way to do it. Like show true performance on a at a major match is honestly the way to go. I kind of just wish as a shooter you can like check a box and be like, I do not want classifications from classifiers. Check, and just
Right.
be
I
like,
know.
and just like opt out of that. Be like, well, like especially for open division like myself,
Hmm.
like you get the one club that's like, oh, we're gonna shoot El Prez today, and I'm like,
They're
all
like, oh,
right,
here we go.
yeah, well, and we shot it, and I had a competitive time. The time was fine, but it was like, oh great, like same time with like a guy shooting carry optics. Oh, I got him, and roughly same hits.
Hmm.
Oh, I got master run. I'm like, I got a fucking B class run. This is bullshit.
I know. All those outdated classifiers, you like walk off the stage, you're like, oh my gosh, I did so well. And then your practice score app updates and it's like, oh my goodness, that was horrible.
hmm Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't. And it's one of the nice things, like my home club itself. Like we don't run classifiers other than what we absolutely have to.
Hmm.
So it's not like, oh, we're getting, or we pick really new ones too. So that's the nice thing.
Yeah.
You're not getting screwed with. We're shooting El Prez, we're shooting Vice Prez. Just like, oh my
Yeah.
lord.
I know.
But so do. So I see. When did you decide you were gonna pick up a camera and actually like take like photos and video? Like when did that happen?
So this is a funny story. Um, my mom, Justine, and I were all just kind of sitting around. This was before Alaska last year, so practically about a year ago. And we're just like, man, how do we make our content better? And we're brainstorming all of these ideas. And then my mom's just like, you know what? I think it's our equipment. We need better cameras. Instead of iPhones or GoPros or whatever, we're going to use a nice camera. We're like, okay. So then a week later, she shows up with a new camera. And then we go to Alaska and we're all taking videos of each other, like trying to figure out how to use it. Not doing a great job. We did like a bear excursion. So we're like filming bears and doing all cool Alaska things, salmon fishing. And then we go to Rifle World shoot. And that was the first time where I actually had to figure out how to use the camera, use a gimbal, and film Justine on stages. And so we would take turns filming each other. So I would shoot in the morning, she would film me, and then she would shoot in the afternoon, and I would film her. And that was kind of like my first introduction to learning how to use a camera properly. And there's a videographer there who's filming Lena, I believe. His name's Chad. And he kind of walked me through some of the general things that you're looking for, kind of other equipment to get. And then from there on, I just kind of kept using the camera. And then we got a photo camera a couple weeks later.
Thank you for checking out another episode of Manny Talks Shooting. I greatly appreciate it. And if you could do me a favor, please go patronize our partners when you are available. We have always, as the title sponsor, D2 Custom Guns. We've got Outdoor Dynamics, Make Stuff Better, 2 Alpha Apparel, Range Panda, Laugh and Load, Hunter's HD Gold, and Southern Bobby Q. Now, thank you. Let's get on with this episode.
And we just kept bringing them to matches and using them. And then finally, about November time last year, I got a call from Dylan, and they're like, "Hey, do you want to come on and do our videos? Like, you're already a sponsored shooter, but we can see that you're getting good at the content side." And then from there, that's kind of where my progression just went up exponentially.
That's pretty impressive. So, camera, like, is it a Canon? Is it a Sony?
So I have a Sony FX3 and then a Sony A7S IV.
Okay. Now, which is your preferred camera?
So the Sony FX3 is for videos, and then the A7 IV I use for photos.
And what kind of lens are you running on your video camera then?
So I run a Sony 24-70, so pretty wide to a relatively medium for good portraits and stuff. And it's an f2.8, so you can get that good blurred background. And it's their GM2 line.
Do you find that that's really cumbersome to like transport?
All the camera equipment does get to be quite a bit transporting. I bought a Pelican case as my carry-on, and so I'll take all of my camera gear with me to all the matches. And it's probably 30, 40 pounds, and so I just have to make it look effortless when I put it overhead so they don't try and take my bag to check it underneath, because you don't want expensive camera gear going under the plane.
Well, especially how they chuck camera,
Exactly.
like they chuck the cases around. Yeah, I don't blame you.
So I have the 2 cameras and then 3 lenses and a gimbal, and that's kind of my loadout that I use when I go to matches.
Gotcha. Do you ever like sometimes you're just like, record it with my phone. I don't want to set it up. Like, I don't want to hand my camera off to anyone.
I am the exact opposite. I will refuse to use an iPhone for anything now. And Justine always gets annoyed because I'm like, "Oh, you'll get the video in like a week." And she's like, "But I want it now." And so I'm like, I can't do it now because I have to edit, put all the color back in, and do all of the fancy video stuff with it. So all the Carry Optics Nationals video, like we'd shoot in the morning, I'd get home and immediately start editing so we both could have like a post to make for that day.
Yeah, that's the one thing about, doing content is like having to like having your standard and then editing it and making it always to that standard. You can only go up in standard. You cannot ever falter in like, oh, I'm going to give you a potato video.
Exactly. I remember like when I first started, it was one of those things where someone sees you with really nice equipment. Like if you walk out as a competitive shooter and you have an Eddy gun, everyone's going to be like, "Oh my goodness, like you're probably some great shooter." And it's like, "Oh no, this is just what I bought." It was kind of that at first where, oh, I had this really great camera equipment, but I absolutely had no clue what I was doing. And so I just kind of had to learn trial by error and then until I kind of figured it out. So I ended up going to Limited Optics Nationals when it was in Alabama last year, filming for a ammo manufacturer. And then I kind of got a couple side jobs there. And then I ended up at Dillon doing all of their media.
Gotcha. Yeah. So did you, once you got the cameras, did you have to like go on YouTube and like figure out how to use it all? And
Yep. Hours and hours spent on YouTube just trying to figure out how to use this thing. And then editing software. That was the hardest part, was, learning how to use the software properly. And I would spend maybe 4 hours on a 20-second Instagram video. And then now it's like, oh, I can do that in like less than an hour. So it just kind of takes time. You just have to put your mind to it, learn everything, and then you'll get to that point.
Now, do you have a preset, like everyone has a shooting style, right? Do you have an editing style that you call as your own, or do you try to develop different style? Like each video has its own style or formula when going.
The videos kind of go, I'd say they're all kind of different in their own way. I do have like certain shots that I tend to get more often than not, just because there's only so much you can do filming someone shooting at a match. Because you always have the ROs, you can't really get like the super cool angles that you would be able to at a practice. And so match videos tend to always kind of have the same formula. And then when we're practicing, that's when you can kind of try out new things and do kind of different things you wouldn't be able to do when there's an RO behind you. And I also trust Justine that she's not going to shoot me. So it's a good way to kind of try out certain things. Like I'm mounting this big 5-pound camera off of her gun somewhere, and she's like trying to hold it up and just getting different angles and stuff. It kind
That's
of
pretty.
becomes its own kind of challenge in itself.
Yeah. Now, have you put it down low on a stage before, like on a low, your tripod on its lowest setting, like near the ground, and like shooting an upward shot?
Yes, I have. Those always turn out really good.
Other than the fact that you have to clean your camera out, like,
Yeah. It's like the balance of, okay, how far is this person going to kick dust, you know?
yeah.
Or if it's like Ohio, you might get a rock right in your lens. But
Oh, yeah. That would be rough.
yeah,
That's I enjoy shooting in Ohio. I like that range, but the rocks suck.
the rocks are not fun.
Yeah. Now speaking of that, did you watch anybody fall down this year?
I was super close to falling down. Justine slipped, and when she was shooting, an RO actually fell down behind her. So the timer RO, she ran to the right, stopped, shot a position, and ran forward. And I'm filming. I have the camera, and this RO, it wasn't a normal fall. It literally looked like they just went straight down. And it was the funniest thing to watch back over, and then like show the RO like what happened there. They all enjoyed it and thought it was
Mm-hmm.
funny. But those rocks will get you. They're super slippery.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I dislike those rocks.
Yeah.
So you're learning and you're playing, and you said you met Chad. I remember Chad. I think his company's like Greenlight Shooting, or at least that's what
Yes.
his YouTube channel is. I can't remember if he's is he from your area, or is he from like Utah or something?
So I believe he's from Salt Lake.
Okay. I remember because he was a gun tuber, or he still is a gun tuber, but he produced things for his own channel for a long time, and now he's like a media guy, right?
Interesting, yeah. So I only met him and he kind of got like my intro, like, oh, you need to get an ND filter and this does that. And then kind of my style came from filming with Howitzer.
Mm-hmm.
So at Nationals, I met Jonathan from Howitzer, and then I kind of filmed with him on some stuff, and that kind of sparked the style of filming that I'm able to do currently.
Gotcha. Yeah. So that's pretty impressive. So isn't it true that you were filming Justine at the PCC slash mini rifle world shoot, doing like a thing you were doing it for Howitzer?
Yes.
Now, what is that slated? Is that come out? I don't think it's come out yet. When is it slated?
To be determined.
Okay.
I actually don't really have a lot of information on that, unfortunately. I was just a video guy.
Oh, so
So
you filmed it all, and then they get to.
yeah,
So,
they
so
have
you
the
do the
fun part.
legwork, and then they got to do the hard part, right?
Yep, exactly. So they have all the hours and hours of footage that they have to compile.
Gotcha. Well, at least you were able to get the footage for them then, and.
Yeah. PCC World Shoot was definitely a breath of fresh air because
Mm-hmm,
normally I am shooting and then filming. So I'm doing both all at once. There's
mm-hmm.
kind of no break with that. PCC World Shoot was the first time where I could actually just put down the gun and use the camera. So I always joke that I'm shooting pixels instead of shooting targets.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was really fun to just watch Justine do her thing and crush it.
Yeah, absolutely. That is impressive, and being able to capture all that whole story throughout that's pretty exciting. So I can't wait for that to come out.
Yeah.
But so you said at the end of last year you got with Dylan.
Yes.
You're already a sponsored shooter. Shooting on reloading on their machines.
Mm-hmm.
How's that being like the media, like going from the role of a sponsored shooter to an actual employee? Are you an employee or a contracted employee?
Employee.
Okay, so you go from a sponsored shooter like role to then a full-time employee role.
Yeah. It was kind of interesting because, yeah, I was one of their sponsored shooters and shooting for Dylan. And then going on as media, I was told, oh, yeah, you'll make the videos and everything. You're going to be filming. And I'm like, oh, that's great. That's something I love to do. And I love reloading. Like on my own Instagram, I was posting about once a week about reloading. And so I got there and I started filming. And the next thing you know, I'm in front of the camera. And I'm like, huh, this is odd. And then pretty much now every time I'm filming and in front of the camera. So I'm now like kind of the new face of Dylan in a way, doing all of their how-to videos, tech tips, and all of the content voiceover.
Where's the reload? Where's the human reloading manual then? Did he
Oh, he's
retire?
no, he's still there,
Okay.
but he's doing other stuff at Dylan currently, and so I'm just doing like the Instagram, Facebook videos.
Okay. I was about to say, like, if you're getting rid of Gary, we got a problem here. I
Nope,
mean,
Gary's
he's
still
been
there.
he's been like the fate, like you can't get your machine to run. Like there's like you either can call him on the phone, like you figure out,
Exactly.
or he's got an in-depth video.
I know. I think my favorite comment from one of my videos was like, Where's Gary? This is not Gary. Like, he's way younger now. What happened?
Yeah. Well,
So,
and they did, and I remember when I first got into reloading back in COVID,
hmm
you know, use that stimulus check on a Dylan reloading press. That's what I'm like, well, and you get in the sport, you're like, oh, well, great, I got to repress now. And of course, you couldn't find any components. So I was like,
yep.
just sitting on a bench now. But
hmm Yeah, there were like a lot of places in Phoenix you could still get components. So we were kind of fortunate. I just think that's because the shooting community here is so large. At a Tuesday night steel, you have over 200 competitors,
mhm.
and that's
that,
every week.
that's impressive. That is impressive, yeah. And
Yeah.
and the fact is they don't all have to shoot at once. Like they go in like in the after like from like what noon or
Oh,
so,
yeah.
or
From noon to like 7 or 8 at night.
yeah. You just take you and a couple buddies and you go shoot the courses and then go home. It's like golf.
Exactly, right?
But yeah, that's so. So doing all that for Dylan, been your favorite project that you've worked on that you can talk about?
Mm. Favorite project was actually Justine's sponsorship video for Dylan. So
Hmm.
she's one of the new sponsored shooters, and on Dylan's Instagram, they have the video. It was kind of her announcement. It's about a minute long. That was kind of the most fun project to work on because it was more than just reloading machines. And I actually got to be behind the camera and film someone else. And it kind of gave me a little bit of creative freedom to do some cool shots on the range. And that's where I was talking about, having my gun in certain places, mounting it, and kind of creating almost a story of her on the range. And I'd like to do more of that.
Yeah, I mean that's always the cool thing is being able to get like a video type project you're able to be passionate about and be able to do. Um, yeah, but if I remember right, she said when we talked that you reload all of her ammo for her.
I do, yes.
So how does that work? Like, oh, you're a sponsored shooter now, but
She's gonna
Carson's
have to
still going to
load
load
her
your
ammo
ammo.
now. No, she's gonna have to pull the handle now.
Well,
But
wait, she didn't even get a good deal where she got an auto drive out of the deal. Lord, do you have an auto drive?
I'm the auto drive.
Oh, yeah, but you're eventually gonna have a repetitive motion injury from freaking reloading.
I know. Last year, I think was the most I've ever loaded, and I loaded about 30,000 for me, and then about 60,000 for her.
I'd been like, hey, somebody want to like load this for me? I
I
don't
know.
want to do this. Like my problem is like I have a 750, so I have to do the pushback. Like I got to push to load the prime.
Yep.
So it's not that this arm hurts; it's the bracing arm on the strong mount, just like taking all the brace, like the tension off of it, and it's just like, it's always a
I
pain in the
know.
butt.
I always find it funny because you can tell when people like load a lot because you'll always see where they put their hand on the machine, and it's not the hand they're pulling the handle; it's like the other hand.
Hmm.
And so that's kind of one of the running jokes is like, what do you do with your free hand now that we have the bullet feeder? Because
Oh yeah,
you don't have to put a bullet on your 750 anymore. And so it takes away that. So I'm like, oh, you could read manuals, scroll on Instagram, whatever you want to do.
yeah. Now, yes, exactly. You could. I still don't ever trust like being able to not do it. Like I'm terrible. Like I've got a phone mounted like off to the side, and I'm like usually watching TV as I load ammo.
Yeah. I'm always like crunching it. Like for Carry Optics Nationals, I loaded the day of our flight. Like we're flying out, 7 in the morning, and I'm there at midnight, cranking out 1,000 rounds of ammo.
Hmm.
Just procrastination at its finest.
Yeah, well, I don't blame you. Like I'm the same way. I'm like, but I'm usually not a procrastinator. I'm usually like, I have exactly enough components on hand to finish what I need. Like, because I'm very particular. Like if I like load major match ammo, I
Hmm
like every major I'm bringing, unless it's nationals, I bring 500 rounds. I don't care. Like that's how much I'm bringing. There's plenty to practice with.
hmm
Like at the warm up bay each day, with 500 rounds. But nationals, it's always 1,000, and I'm always
Yeah.
like, okay, I'm only using these primers, this lot of powder, this lot of bullets. So I'm always like, oh no, I can't touch this. Like this
Yeah.
is for like I have like little stacks of like this is for this is for this.
I think I got to a point where I was loading so much that I just would crank out as fast as I can, and you could really see it. So, a funny story at Factory Gun Nationals last weekend or 2 weekends ago is you have chrono,
Hmm.
and that's always my most nervous stage, just because I load both of our ammo. So I'm like, what's gonna happen? Like, got to make sure it passes, and never once have we had one that hasn't passed, but it's always scary. And I cranked out my ammo, pulling the handle as fast as I can, powder's spilling everywhere. I'm just like, I gotta get this done. And I get to chrono, and Kaylee Lane's behind me. And my first shot's like 879. And I'm like, ooh, that's low. And the next one's 979. And then the next one's like 840. and then like back up in the 900s, like high 900s. And she's like, "What were you doing when you were loading your ammo?" And I'm like, "I don't know, just pulling the handle as fast as I can."
Yeah. Well, yeah, you just crank it out and be like,
Hmm.
hey, and a lot of people get nervous at chrono. Everyone's like, oh, do I, like all the group chats that I'm stuck in, they're all like, is my ammo gonna be like? They don't understand if their powder is temperature sensitive, versus
Hmm.
temperature sensitive, or like, oh, let me squeak it by 125.1. I'm like, no, just
Nope.
132. Like that's like,
Yes, exactly.
we'll shoot for 132, and if it goes to 135, who cares? If you're at 130, no one gives a crap. You have passed chronograph, you get a score.
Yeah, in my
I
opinion, I don't think there's really a big advantage between 128 and 137. Like, I think
mhm.
it's all kind of just the same.
Yeah, other than you might be saving a point zero 0.01 grain of powder between them all, like,
Yeah.
but well, and I remember, 2023 Area 5 up in Michigan, Jaleese shot the whole match to find out she shot for no score because of subminer
Yep.
ammo out of, I think it was Justine. We'll blame Justine's gun. I think that was it's like, well, it's her
Okay.
really shot out barrel. I'm like, that still
I
sucks. You
believe
shot a
what
whole match to
yeah,
not
that
get a
does suck.
score.
I believe what happened was because that was when they both loaded on the same machine, and
Hmm.
Justine mainly shot PCC and Jaylee's shoot single stack, right?
Yeah.
And Justine will use 124 grain and Jaylee's will use 147s. So I believe when Jaylee's was loading her ammo, I think she accidentally loaded her ammo with 124 grains, and that's why
Mm,
it was subminor because of the powder difference.
yeah. That sucks too.
It'll get you. You got to be careful.
Yep. 100%.
Yeah, we're fortunate that the powder we use is inverse sensitive. So in Arizona, it's 105 degrees right now at 6 at night. And when we chrono, it's like 130. And if we go anywhere else in the world, it's going to be colder. So it's always going to be a little bit hotter. So we never have to worry about that.
Yeah, that is definitely nice. At least having one extreme or the other,
Hmm.
you just be able to always be safe, right? And that's knowing your load, right? Like for me, a shooting major, like I just need to know the recipe out of my gun, what's gonna work, right? Like
Yes.
I use probably the one of the worst powders. It's great for affordability and economic. It's economical. Ram shot silhouette, right? I can load it to. I can almost get 1,000 rounds out of a pound, and I mean, like, it's not great. I get unburnt powder in the gun all the time, and it's
Hmm.
like, but it works, right? And it's not a compressed load, which is super nice for open because you have less of a chance of blowing up your gun. So,
Yeah. What caliber?
9 major. So
Okay.
I'm not
So
fancy
Ram
enough
shot
to have a
silhouette.
38. Yeah, I'm not fancy for 38 super comp.
I know I just got my Eddie gun, so now I'm like 3 and 3/8 and load up some 38 Super Comp.
Well, and I was loading 3 and 38 on 9 major,
Ooh,
9.2 grains. Yeah, it was. You didn't worry about the overall length shifting because it was going to be perfect because it was all powder in the
yeah,
case.
right? Oh my goodness.
Your overall links were always consistent, even with mixed Heb stamp brass. It was like, ugh. Yeah,
Yeah, that's funny.
yeah. I don't recommend anyone doing that with a 9 major gun. Do it at your own risk. There's your
Disclaimer.
disclaimer. Yeah, you all signed a waiver, right?
Yeah, exactly. I know that's like the hardest part of making a video at Dylan. I'm like, okay, so this is what I use, but I'm not going to tell you how much because don't want to
Yeah.
get anyone in trouble.
Well, and then the best part, I guess you could say, go to Dylan's. Don't they? Does Dylan have a manual yet, or do
No,
you?
I think I don't know whose we have, but we don't have like a load data manual.
Mm, yeah, no, and just like go check out. I think there's probably plenty of videos that say go check out a manufacturer's manual, and
Yep.
it's like cover your bases there.
Yeah.
So if I remember right, Justine was talking with David Riddle, and she talked about her mules to get all of her ammo to all of her crap to World Shoot, right?
Yeah.
So how many bags did you have to take?
Oh my goodness. So I believe we all got like 2 free bags or something like that, and I think we all used 2 free bags. We had a Mercedes van, like a Sprinter van, and it was packed to the brim with bags. We had my camera case that I carried on a backpack, and then a large check bag. And then Justine had her rifle case in a check bag, and then my mom also had 2 check bags. And then my dad came later with 2 check bags.
Hmm.
And all of us had ammo. We each took 400 rounds, which is about the 11 pounds, or it is the 11 pounds. And we just wanted to make sure that she could have enough ammo to get over there because it's, you know, a 600-700 round match. And if you want to practice or do anything, you got to have those extra rounds. And it was scary because my dad came in later and we still don't really know like what the whole customs procedure is with ammo. So we're like, okay, does he need to declare it? Does he not need to declare it? Like what's happening? But fortunately, we all made it through, no issues. Air France is very stringent, so don't recommend flying with ammo with them. They want it to be in its original box, in a locked box, and then they take the total weight of that. So imagine you have 11 pounds in cardboard boxes. Now they want you to throw that in an ammo can, and now you're at 20 pounds. So you have to be careful.
Yeah. Wasn't it people who flew with Delta had a lot easier?
Yeah, people who flew Delta had no questions asked because they treated it like it was another domestic flight, so they didn't really check.
Oh, nice.
So there are some
Yeah.
people who came through with like 1,200 rounds of ammo, and we're like, "How did you make it through? Like, that's absurd."
Well, like I think Tom Castor bought like 2,000 rounds, and I'm like, how would you do that? Like where would you put it? Like,
Yeah, and then imagine having to haul around those bags full of ammo. Like, that's
yeah,
heavy.
you just find a pack mule.
Yeah, right.
But yeah. Plus, you had all your camera. You had your stuff, your
Hmm.
camera gear, her ammo. Like, and you guys stayed like what, a week later.
Yep, we stayed a week later.
So you had all that. You had to have extra clothes, or did you like find like a place to like do laundry while you were
We
there?
found a laundromat, and it was filled with shooters because the whole town is, you know, a couple thousand people, and now you add 1,000 shooters to it too. So the laundromat was a happening place while we were there. So you had to go in off hours of the day to kind of do your laundry. But Rifle World Shoot in Finland was even worse in terms of like bringing everything because Justine and I shot. So
Hmm.
not only did we have our guns, we both had two rifles, but then we also had all of our ammo to go with that. And I was 5.56, so a lot heavier, all
Yeah,
of that.
I can imagine that. Yeah, that'd be pretty rough on transporting all that and getting it across. You know, now you were smart. I think if she said you guys left your ammo, like
Yes.
you just gave it to Zach and be like, here, you keep it because I'm not dealing with this now.
Yeah, a lot of people had troubles going out of the country, and I believe it was on Air France. They did not like the fact that you're bringing ammo back.
Mm,
And they even asked us, so like a couple times, like, "Do you have any ammo?" And we're like, "No, like no ammo, just the guns."
yeah. And then did you guys fly back? Like, where was your connecting flight?
So we went from Phoenix to Paris, and then Paris to Prague,
Okay.
and then on
And
the way back, it was the same.
okay, so at least you weren't like go like I knew a lot of shooters like that went with Max. They went to New York, like JFK.
Yeah, and I refuse to do that because I've heard so many horror stories of if your flight gets delayed and then you have to leave the airport, like they'll just arrest you on the spot or something. And so
Hmm.
it's just not kind of worth that risk.
Yeah. Yeah, and especially for you. I mean, there's always a chance you probably lose your pilot's license or something like
Oh,
that. With
I'm sure there's a long list of things that, you know, can disqualify you from having your pilot's license. It's not
yeah.
something I want to do.
I don't blame you on that at all. Oh my God, I love it when people send you like a million, like you're on an email chain and it's the worst. And they're like, "Oh, reply right man." I'm like, "No."
Yeah,
Of
back and
course it.
forth.
Oh, yeah, or it's the people who treat email like a group chat.
Oh,
Like it's don't send me 3 words in an email like everything, guys.
they're like
But
sending you three emails in a row, like each one word. It's like, okay, no.
exactly. It's like that's what group chats are for, not emails because
Yeah.
then I have to read all that. And it doesn't track very well sometimes.
Mm-mm.
And it is what it is. But
Yeah.
so you just got back from Factory Gun Nationals, aka Carry Optics Nationals.
Yes.
How was the trip?
The trip to Factory Gun Nationals was good. We flew out in the morning, got there on Thursday, I believe. That gave us time to walk stages. And it was pretty much all open targets, which is very interesting because that's the exact opposite of what it was last year. Last year it was carry optics and I believe production, and there were 30-yard partials, no shoots at 35, 40 yards, you know, everything you could think of that would be really hard for an iron sight gun. And this year it was pretty much all open targets. We had maybe 4 or 5 activating targets and maybe 2 or 3 no shoots, no hard cover at all. And I think it got a lot of people and bit a lot of people in the butt, including me, because you see an open target at 20 yards and you're like, oh my goodness, this is easy. And then next thing you know, you're throwing deltas all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
So coming out of the gate, I think I just came out a little bit too fast and a little bit out of control. And that's something that I'm going to work on before South Africa for Handgun World Shoot.
Right. Well, and the main reason I've heard that they didn't have any hardcover was the fact that they used the waterproof targets. But when they're like at 90 plus degrees every day, the target doesn't really want to take any paint. So,
Nope.
but I guess that's the better move of having open targets and comparatively to instead of, oh, we're going to put no shoots on every target that had hardcover.
Exactly.
And then you'd have people who would have like 10,000 no shoots
I
or,
know. And the no shoots just keep racking up. Fortunately, I don't think we had any while we were there, which is good. I didn't mind the stages. I know a lot of people were kind of iffy on having all the open targets, but I think it was still a fair and deceiving match.
mm-hmm. Yeah, let people put the throttle to it and then let their speed get them. And then that's why they had mics and not necessarily was it that they put a bunch of hardcover and you put it a quarter inch inside the black.
Exactly. And I think a lot of people have their own forte as well. So having a good balance is always nice to have.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. So did you shoot? I have actually one of his patches here. Did you shoot for belt?
I did not shoot belt this time, but I am thinking about it for Open Nationals actually. I was talking to Hunter and he said that he's going to sponsor Open and PCC Nationals. And we're kind of talking about it. And he said he might allow people to shoot their open guns with like a fishing vest as long as they use the Constantine belt. So
That's a lot of weight to put on a Hunter Constantine carry belt, though.
I know. I was thinking like two belts, one for your mags, one for your gun, and then
Yeah,
go from there. Maybe like a nice little Walmart vest or a
yeah.
bathrobe, and then
Yes, a bathrobe,
I don't
like
know.
the
Like
like the
I
Big
mean,
Lebowski. Put the bathrobe
exactly.
on.
It is awesome to see like what Hunter's doing, and Justine will be the first to tell you as well, since she did shoot belt, that it's not as hard as it looks, and the only thing different is your draw. Everything else is still the same. So shooting is shooting. And a
hmm
lot of people came up to her and were like, "Oh my gosh, that's so cool that you're doing that." And I think it's a good change to the sport, especially since Hunter's bringing in cash and other prizes and kind of making it what shooting used to be back in the 90s.
Yeah. So the question is, what'd she do with all those singles? Like, did she just leave them banded and take them to the bank?
No, she first off, flying and going through TSA with like $2,000 in ones in your backpack is kind of a strange thing. We were kind of concerned that TSA was going to pull her bag or something, but they didn't. She actually paid her gym membership in ones for the next 3 months or whatever. So that was kind of funny. But I really want to see Hunter going into the bank and being like, "Can I have $16,000 in ones?"
Yeah, that's probably a call ahead thing. Like, we got to get
Yeah,
that all banded for you. Like,
exactly.
that's
So
always the cool thing. Like, Hunter's been very nice to work with. I've dealt with sponsorships for different matches this year.
mhm.
Hunter wants to get his name out there and brand. So he's super like, yeah, I want the top tier. I'm like, okay, we got you. We can do that. And everyone loves, mostly we'll give the staff mostly his black ammo bag, which everyone's like, man, I'm so glad I don't have to use those. Sorry, Dylan boxes. I've never liked the boxes though. Like, I understand when you need them to fly, but like on match day, I don't want to have to carry around 5 to 6 boxes of ammo
Yeah,
when I
it
can
is
carry one
definitely a
bag.
thing. I know the bag is nice, but for flying, the boxes are so much easier. They don't give you a hassle. And I actually like it because then I can like double check my ammo while I'm there. So primer's up and I can just look, make sure everything's good to go.
Yeah, that is definitely a thing that still is a big help is being able to check your primers before and that's one thing about the bag. You just kind of grab a handful and just start ramming them into mags. And
Yep.
I've had that bite me in the butt once. No, well, I'm really weird. I'll case gauge in my hundo and then I will case gauge in my barrel. But that was because I don't know what it was. I was some projectile didn't want to match well with my barrel. Like, so it'd be super stuck. Like, I don't know if it was like way like, which is funny enough because these bullets are the official bullets of they used them in Thailand for the world shoot. See the FMP complete metal jackets from FMP,
Okay.
and they're from South Africa, and that's the range that Handgun World shoots at.
Oh, okay.
And I think I was loading them too long
Mm,
for open rounds. Like at 1.175, my ideal overall length for an open round, I think it was too long and it was messing with the ogive of the bullet. So it'd be crimping in a bad spot. So I could actually spin a bullet in a case.
oh, wow.
Yeah, so I was like, and the worst part was I had like 2,000 rounds loaded of this stuff, and I just like go to pick it up, and I'm like, this is not normal. So then I just pick up the next one, kick it back, like, and I'm sorting through. I'm like, no, and that's the worst part is like 2,000 primed cases at this point. Like, oh no, it's like this. That was rough.
Yeah, that's at the point where you're not going to pull all of those.
I did.
Oh,
Not in one sitting. I was just like, well, I'll eventually want that primer back. So,
that's
but I
more
mean,
than I'll do. I'd try and shoot it.
yeah, and I tried. Like, I was like, okay, maybe it's, and then the bullet, like, and I have a really aggressive crimp on my bullets too. Like I don't know what it is. It was just I've always had an aggressive crimp. Learning from somebody who shot open for years, it's like crimp the crap out of it. Like, it's
Hmm.
like, and I always have, and I've never had like keyholing issues with how much crimp I have. But like,
Yeah.
I'll talk to like one of my sponsors, Outdoor Dynamics, and I'm like, what do you crimp at? And he's like, dot dot dot. I'm like, oh well, I'm way under that, by the way. But is what it is.
Yeah.
I've never had accuracy issues with my ammo, other than the fact that I could spin a particular brand. I think I have a bunch of those projectiles that have been untouched. I think I'm going to try to like make a shorter load
Hmm.
and see if like that was the issue. If it was the ogive of the bullet, like at the length where it was crimping it, it just would like flare with the bullet and then it wouldn't sit in the case anymore. But
Yeah, I'm sure it's something to do with that.
yeah, so I'm going to try dropping it a little bit and see if I can actually use them, because I liked the project. They were cheap too. Like,
Oh, really?
I mean, yeah, they were super. Where how I was getting them, they were super cheap,
Hmm.
and better than any. And they were just as good quality as any domestically like Full Metal Jacket bullet that I was getting. So, because I don't shoot hollow points, I'm that asshole though who shoots major with a FMJ. Well, it's plated. It's not, I can't say it's a Full Metal Jacket. It is a plated bullet,
Okay.
but it's round. So like I always make sure to have to catch my ammo, or like where did it drop on the ground and pick it up, because I don't want somebody who's throated like a CZ or another 2011 to load my major ammo into their gun and shoot it. Because there is the person who will pick up the range pickup and try to shoot it out of their gun.
Yeah. I this is funny. I always load my ammo in Justine's ammo, and then I'll put them in Barry's boxes, like the bullets,
Hmm.
the cardboard kind of couple inch by couple inch square containers,
Right?
and fold the lid on top of each other, and then give it to her, or I'll use it as mine. So I wrote down 9 millimeter major, but the way I folded it, it just had a 9 and a J. And Justine saw that and was like, "Oh, that's my ammo," and took it. And she's shooting this out of her Shadow 2, and she's like, "Oh my God, why is the brass going like 5 feet that way? Like, it's so hot." Like, and it was right after she got done shooting PCC at a match. So she's like, "Oh, maybe I'm just not used to shooting my pistol again, right?" And she
Hmm.
just keeps shooting. And then she reads the box again, and she's like, "Oh no, that's not my ammo." So she shot probably like 2 mags full of 9 major through a Shadow 2.
Well, at least it was only 2 mags.
Yeah, like it wasn't like a whole practice, 500 rounds later with no comp and just destroying her gun.
Yeah. And she'd be like, I don't know why my gun doesn't work, Carson.
I know, right? Like, where'd the barrel go?
Right. Yeah. So you shot, we'll dive back into carry optics, because you weren't cool. You did not shoot belt, but
I know.
you shot fairly well for yourself, I think. You were within the top 100. I did see that. Yep, you were 82 out of 100 in carry optics. Did you feel that was that better than normal, or was that on par with normal where you place at nationals, or?
It was a little worse than last year. So last year was going to be my best performance at nationals or Karyoptics nationals, and last year I believe I was 47th, maybe 57th out of 400 or 500 people. This year I was 82nd out of 400 or 500, but I had about the same percentage, I would say. I don't recall what I was last year. I think that this match was very deceiving for everyone, and I also that there were a lot of new people in the sport, period. So a lot of new names that you might not recognize that are also master class or grandmaster, and so it kind of stacked the playing field a little bit more than normal.
Right. Yeah, because there was a lot of, and I don't know why this does it. Practice score is stupid. Like when I click M, it'll show me all the GMs as well, which is
Yep,
absolutely
I know
aggravating. Hey, Eugene, like a practice score, can you fix that? Like,
that and high available, please.
yeah. Oh, like the average points loss is a little weird too.
Yeah,
Like,
I don't like that.
I mean, it's kind of nice. Like at the end of the match, when the match is all over, I guess I can understand. Okay, on average, basic math, you lost 5 points per stage, right? Like
Yeah.
that could help somebody down the analytical road of a wormhole if they really wanted to. When in reality, you lost 2 points on this stage, but then you lost 60 points on this stage,
Exactly.
and then it doesn't equate. Like the APL doesn't make sense at that point. Like,
No. And we always use it for tracking scores like throughout the match. So
hmm
when you had high available, it gave everyone the same amount of points for each stage if they haven't shot it. So
right.
that at least gave you a baseline that you could calculate and see, okay, do I need to push on this stage? Am I ahead and can kind of take it a little bit easier? And now with the average points lost, it's all over the place.
Yeah, it in some math nerd's brain it might work, but when
Yeah.
you're the user of the app and you're trying to figure it out, it doesn't work for me. But I
Nope.
don't also check scores while I'm shooting. I will check, like if it's a 2 day match, I will check scores after the day
Hmm.
and then like when I'm done shooting. And usually it's because I staff a lot of matches, so my score relative to everyone else is not accurate.
Yes.
Now, if I like in shooting open division, especially in my area, there's not a lot of open shooters or a lot of heat and open where I'm at
Hmm.
locally, or especially who will staff the match. So I might win open staff match, and I'm like, yeah, I'm a winner, and I take that screenshot and I just put it in my phone. I'm like, well, I beat all you. More point is, where's the spread? Like, is it
Exactly.
5%? Did I beat you by 10%? Like, and then it's like, okay, we'll see where I land at the end of the match. And some people like who shoot staff, they're checking their scores every squad. I'm like, don't even give yourself that aneurysm. Don't even look
I
at
know.
it. Like you're just gonna go down. Like
It's a
everyone,
slow, painful death from there.
I learned that quick. I'm like, nope, I'm not even gonna check scores after that point.
Yeah, I'll typically check about once a day after the day's over. And I know Justine kind of checks periodically, like stage by stage almost. But she's very good about, okay, do I need to push on this? Do I need to take it back? How did other people do it? Because
hmm
looking at scores and practice score not only can give you an idea of what you need to do, but also how they shot the stage. So you
hmm
could have a stage plan and you're like, oh, that's slower than what their time shows. Maybe they did it a different way, and then try and work it out backwards.
Yeah, I can understand and see that where using that like okay, their plan had to have been this, or they found some other route, or
Yep.
especially on the stages that gave them options on how to run the stage. Like mostly at nationals, it always seems like there might be 1 to 2 plans for like carry optics that make
Yeah.
sense, and then you have always got the oddball guy like Castro who will shoot the stage completely differently than anybody else
Yes.
and throw off the curve. But yeah, like I mean, Christian did a very well job. He put about 5% on the field, which is a little bit less than normal. Usually, it seems like it's more of a 7 to 9% gap. So,
Hmm.
but he didn't. He had a very good points percentage. I mean, he only shot one no shoot. I mean, and 7 deltas. Oh no, he can't be a national champion. He shot 7 deltas,
Right. I
guys.
know. I think I had that on my first stage of the match.
Well, yeah, and that always happens. Now, what zone did you guys start in?
So we started in zone one. So stages like 1 through 6 or something like
So
that.
did you shoot on the late quote unquote ladies super squad?
Yes. So it was the ladies super squad, and then myself, Kevin Leonhart, um, single stack ladies father, and one
Oh,
other
Sasha's
guy.
dad.
Yeah, Sasha's dad. And then one other person that I can't remember currently.
Yeah.
Bridge? No, not Bridger. I don't remember.
Yeah, I'd have to look it up and figure out what squad you guys you were on, and then look it up
Yeah.
that way. But that's kind of cool too. Is like you can actually track your squad in
Hmm.
practice score or competitor. Did you know that?
I did not know.
So if you want to track a squad, like say you want to track the super squad, and they're 201, you
Yeah.
just type in squad and then no space 201, and you can see how they rank out against each other. So if you want to see how a whole squad's doing in relativity, you can see okay, Christian's putting 5% on his squad. So like especially if you've got like the CZ team, right? Like
Hmm.
IPSC Nationals is coming up in August, and like the CZ team has their whole own squad. So if you wanted to track how that squad was doing, you just type in that squad into practice score, competitor, and then you can see where they're at.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, I figured that out. Well, somebody showed it to me, but it's super helpful when you're like, who shot? Like if you say you had a problem on a stage with a certain competitor or something, and you have to kind of dig into it, and you're like, all right, what squad are they on? And then you can kind of see, okay, who it was, kind of in relativity. So
That's cool.
It's kind of helpful. I don't know if I don't know if it's applicable for all using it all the time. But like if you're looking in case scenarios, like okay, how did the super squad shoot this stage, right? And you can see all their scores from that
Yeah.
particular stage, and see if like for example, if Christian pulled away really hard on one stage and like because he had some master plan. But anywho,
Mm-hmm.
so you shot zone one. Did you guys get rained on at all?
We were fortunate enough only to get rained on when we walked stages.
Uh, hey, that's a first for Ohio.
I know, but the humidity was terrible.
Yeah.
So the other zone or the other schedule got rain like on one stage, but then it cooled off and it was cloudy and everything. And since
Mhm.
we were PM AM PM, we had the brute of the day, just 90 degrees, 90% humidity, just sweating so much.
Mm.
And I never thought I'd be so much happier to get back to 110 degrees.
Yeah. Well, at least there's no humidity there.
Exactly. I know. The most you have is like by the pool.
Yeah. The pool with your pool boy skimming it.
Yep. I know. I think everyone in Arizona has a pool. It's just like one of those things.
Well, I mean, I guess it could be worse. It's that or what, scorpions, right?
Yep. Well, we have those too. So
Yeah. Now, have you ever been stung by a scorpion?
I have not, but my dad has.
Yeah.
Justine and I were like watching TV or something, and my dad was taking the trash out, and we heard him scream so loud that we thought something happened. And so we run outside, and he's just like swearing at his foot because he was wearing flip flops, and a scorpion crawled over his foot and stung him in the calf.
Oof.
Yeah, it just went like right up his leg, stung him as he was taking the trash out, and he was like on the floor with his leg raised. We looked up what do you have to do for a scorpion sting, and it's just like rest and whatever, and he's feeling nauseous and everything.
Yeah. Well, I guess it's probably especially like it's the tiny ones that you got to really be worried about, right?
Yep, it's the tiny ones. So we'll actually go scorpion hunting at our house at night, and it's one of the things where if people aren't from Arizona, they love doing it. You basically just go out with like a 1x2 stick and a black light, and you just go in the alley and you'll find them on the wall, and then you just kind of squish them. And some nights, whenever we first moved into our house, we'd get 70, 80, 90 scorpions at night and kill
Hmm.
all of them. And that was like a daily occurrence. And then now we're lucky to get maybe 10.
Yeah.
So we've cut down on the population around us a little bit.
Yeah. Now, has Justine's dog finally starting to like you now?
She's getting there.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's one of those things where she's like Dory from Finding Nemo. Like, I'll go in the room, she'll growl at me, and then she's completely fine. Like, oh my goodness, where have you been? And then I'll leave the room, come back in, and it's the same thing.
That is a little funny right there. Not
Yeah.
gonna lie.
But I'm so used to it that if she is like barking or whatever, I'm like, I know she's not going to do anything. So it's one of those things where I'm just like, oh, come on now. Like, stop it.
Yeah. She just wants attention, and she's
Yeah,
like, grr, why are you taking her
exactly.
attention? She's mine, grr.
Exactly. Yeah. She'll like growl and then run up and then like require pets.
Yes. Well, every dog wants pets,
Yeah,
but hey, that's what dogs do. But
exactly.
but Carson, is there this is the part of the show? Oh, I throw this in and then I'll ask you one more question. This is the part of the show where I let you shout out all your sponsors or or your partners or whoever you've got. Um, so who we got other than Dylan? Because I mean now you're
Yeah,
employed by Dylan,
I
but
know. That's like one of those gray areas, right?
yeah.
So I am fortunate enough to be sponsored by CZ Custom. So for the firearms, you have Shooter's World Powder, Barry's Bullets, Double Alpha Academy,
That's it.
and then Lock Grips.
Oh, there you go. I was like, there's got to be more. I don't stalk on everyone's sponsors, but I'm like, it's usually what I have to do is like I'll look at my shirt, like I'll have
I know that's
you have a jersey hanging, and it's like, this one's accurate.
exactly. And then the biggest one of all is Camelback Wealth Consultants, which is my dad's company. But
Daddy's money. All
exactly,
right,
one of those got to represent the business.
there you go. No, that's good. No, that's good. It's really cool to see how supportive your parents are into what you do, and like being able to do everything you've ever wanted to do. Get a
Yes.
pilot's license. First of all, becoming an Eagle Scout at a young age, getting a pilot's license, doing media, shooting competitively. Like so many doors have been opened through their, them
Yeah.
supporting you, which is awesome.
Yeah, they've been super supportive, and I'm very thankful for that from, Eagle Scout, becoming a rescue diver, pilot, all of that.
Yeah, You've done far more than some people have ever done in your short period on this earth. You've done far more than some people ever do in their lives.
Yes.
But Carson, that's pretty much everything I had. Is there anything you want to make sure you say before we get out of here?
No, I think I covered everything.
Well, I appreciate you coming on and having a good conversation. We talked about a lot. I mean,
Yeah,
I can't believe we've already gone over an hour, and it was a good conversation. So thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Hopefully I did okay.
No, you did just fine. I can't. You didn't do any worse than some people have. So you were definitely not the bottom of the bar.
That's good.
But thank you, Carson, and listeners. Get out and do the things. We'll see you on the next one.